everyone. Bonjour. We'll be presenting in English and then answering questions in French. We're a group of international students and multidisciplinary students from the epfl. And we're here to present the Rebuild Make project today. So just a little about ourselves. I'm Maria, I'm an architecture student, then Lancelot is in civil engineering, and Elena in material sciences. So Rebuild is a new name for our project, which stands for reuse and low tech. And the main idea for our project is to demonstrate to what extent we could manage to reuse concrete and low technologies, all in implementing them in an urban context. So we're taking the message from Corentin Fivet, who is our coordinator, and passing it on through the project. So the Make entity is an epfl entity that encourages and supports student initiative projects. We've been admitted, the Rebuild project has been admitted last December by the Make committee. And so we started last semester, so in February. One Make project that you may know of is the Solar Decathlon of 2017 that has won the competition and is also known as the Neighbor Hub in Fribourg campus. They had a great communication impact to which we aspire a lot.
So our Rebuild project was born to put together the three main principles for a circular economy in the built environment. We have reversible construction, low technologies, and reutilization of components. Talking about reversible construction, it's the ability of a space to accommodate more needs, being multifunctional, depending on the different applications in future. Then we have also the reversibility from a technical point of view, meaning that building components can be disassembled to be used again without losing technical quality and functional quality. And then we have low technologies and reutilization of components. As our Professor Fivet said about the building sector, this is why we have to apply reuse and low tech in the building sector, because it's one of the biggest causes of pollution and CO2 emissions. And this is why in our project, we have at disposition a building that is mainly made of concrete, situated in Renon. We want to use as much as we can from this building. We are going to analyze, we plan to analyze and reuse as much as we can of the materials that we find in this building before it's gonna get demolished. And about, instead, what is low tech? So low tech, it's basically a word that we can use to describe different services that must be accessible for everyone in terms of comprehension and in terms of use and easy to repair and to obtain. Also, it must be durable, should last in time to decrease the waste. Also, it must be useful for different needs that can change in time and really can be useful for the people, for the community. And as the other speakers already said, there are some examples in the state of the art. So what we are going to do is not that far from reality. These examples that we took are really inspiring us because they show that it's possible to use low-tech, like thermic panels, but also the reuse of water in water cycles, and also the reuse of materials, for example, the reuse of steel beams in buildings. And another thing that we wanted to point out is that if you look at the facades of these buildings, they have some character, some personality. This means that communities can be also attracted by this kind of urban areas, trying to make a change.
So the initial idea was to reclaim materials from an existing building. As Elena stated, it's in Renan for us. Then transforming everything into a communitarian pavilion, all in consisting low technologies, and then being able to retransform it for its next use and apply the concept of déconstruction, construire réversible, and constructing for disassembly. Then adaptability to the communitarian needs and technical reversibility are important to us. So this 3D model was made just for the quantitative example for us to visualize what this pavilion could be like and what the materials needed, what the quantities are needed. And we've been organizing micro-design sessions with the association students in order to put down on paper, imagine what would we visualize this pavilion to be like. And of course, it will be changing a lot. And architecture students are going to be working on this as from next semester in order to formally design the pavilion depending on its community and the place it will be implemented in. So one of the student projects in which I'm part of, and is supervised once again from SXL laboratory with Corentin Fivet and Maxence Graulich, is the resource diagnosis. And we've been working on analyzing what can be reclaimed from the existing building, and we've been applying the layers of brand principles, which is the idea of analyzing from the exterior, more heavy structure to the interior stuff. This helped us classify everything into different categories, so in order to create an inventory. So this is a glimpse of the website we've been developing, which will be used like a sort of user-friendly catalog with the idea to be giving it to the students designing the pavilion, but also to the deconstruction company as a guide as to what to keep.
So the pavilion is not the only project that gravitates around the MAKE project. There are also other theoretical projects that are conducted. For example, those are sketches from a semester project of mine where I try to have a bigger scale for the reused components. So those are examples for a 16 by 16 meters building that I want to get as close as possible to 100% reused materials. It's challenging, but the idea is also to face those challenges, to see what materials and techniques could also be used in synergy with reuse in order to get as far as possible with those techniques. For the timeline of the actual pavilion projects, right now for this semester we are still discussing and assessing the availability of the materials in the building that is going to be deconstructed. For next semester, we will focus on getting an actual final design for the pavilion and prepare for the deconstruction that will happen during the spring of 2023. And the idea is to build the actual pavilion in the summer of 2023 and do this actual deconstruction process, rebuilding process, and see the challenges that we'll face then to get closer to the actual final use of the pavilion. We want to thank all of the collaborators that took part in this project. Well, we've talked about it enough now, the Structural Exploration Lab, Corentin Fivet, Maxence Graulich, who helped us define an actual frame of work for this project. We also want to thank MAKE epfl, That's the epfl organism that helps to create student-run technical associations. The Low-Tech Lab Lausanne, represented by Alexis Chanel, who is here. The 2401 group, they're a group of architects and engineers who also help us sharing their knowledge about sustainability and sustainable construction. Steiner, for providing us the building and the elements that we're going to reuse. And finally, the Skill, that's an open working space at epfl that provides actual tools and knowledge books for all students at epfl. So this is the end of our presentation. Thank you very much. As you may have seen, this is work in progress for this project. It's very new for all of us, and we would gladly benefit from your experience and any advice that you could give us. So don't hesitate to contact us, and we'd be glad to talk with you. Thank you very much.